sorry to interrupt your programming on Nickelodeon. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. The following message has been transmitted by request from the Union Pacific Railroad. At around 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, Burlington Northern Extra 7843 suffered a rear-end collision with Santa Fe Extra 8112. At this time, a mandatory evacuation has been placed for the Newcastle, Wyoming area. Areas surrounding are Newcastle, Pocatello, Rawlings, Medicine Bow, and Green River. Tune to your station serving your area for additional updates on this developing story. Programming will resume now. Civil danger warning continues for the Newcastle, Wyoming and its surrounding areas. The following message has been transmitted by request from the NTSB. Another freight train, Extra 5533 East, was also derailed in the collision. Fires have been ignited after the rear-end collision subsided. Around 5:15 a.m., thousands of 911 calls poured into the hotline. Emergency rescue personnel are miles away from the crash site. Those evacuated earlier are strongly advised to remain in your shelters until given all clear by federal authorities. Stay tuned for further updates. Regular programming has been ceased. Once again, stay tuned for further updates. Law enforcement warning for the Newcastle, Wyoming area. The following message has been transmitted by request from the Wyoming State Highway Patrol and the Federal Railroad Administration. A suspicious person was wandering near the vicinity of the crash site. He is described as a Caucasian male, early to mid-late 20s, salt and pepper beard with a clean-shaven mustache, greasy brown hair above the ears, and wearing a chocolate brown flannel shirt with cargo shorts and steel-toed worker boots. He was last seen at the crash site. Anyone with info is to call pound 77 for state police. Stay tuned for further updates. Shelter-in-place warning for the Newcastle, Wyoming and its surrounding areas. The following message has been transmitted by request from the Federal Bureau Investigation, the NTSB, and the Federal Railroad Administration. At around 5:37 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, a report of explosive materials was reported 20 minutes after all three trains have crashed. Anyone within a 45-mile radius surrounding the areas of Medicine Bow, Newcastle, Rawlings, Green River, and Pocatello are advised to head into a fallout shelter. Fallout is a product of nuclear attacks. Prolonged exposure will result in certain death. Fallout spreads 1 minute after impact. Stay tuned for further updates. We are sorry to interrupt your news stations on Nickelodeon. This is an emergency update to the suspicious person that was reported earlier. The suspect has since been captured and arrested for failing a drug test. Also, 2 people were confirmed to be deceased while 2 others sustained critical injuries. An investigation is still being launched at this time. Anyone in the shelters, please remain in your shelters until all clear signals have been given out by authorities. There were also confirmed reports of 5 locomotives and 13 out of 21 freight cars, including a caboose, that were completely destroyed in the crash itself. Tune to your station serving your area for additional updates on this developing story. The fires haven't been put out yet, so stay calm. Stay tuned for further updates. The fire rescue personnel have been evacuated due to severe explosions, most likely from the explosive and other flammable materials. Repeating again, all fire rescue personnel are advised to evacuate the area immediately. A blast is most likely to occur, but so far, no confirmation of explosives were reported. Anyone surrounding in the areas of Newcastle and Medicine Bow, you are advised to remain in your fallout shelters until told otherwise. All aerial firefighting equipment will only be used to extinguish the flames. Flames were reported to ignite 2,000 feet above sea level. Stay tuned for further updates. We interrupt your programming on Nickelodeon for this emergency update. It was confirmed there were no explosive materials on board any of the 3 freight trains mentioned earlier, but the threat of a blast is still high. Again, no explosives were confirmed on any of the 3 freights, but the threat is far from over. Flammable materials including propane, gasoline, nitrocellulose, and spontaneously combustible solids like phosphorus were confirmed in the wreckage. 5 coal hoppers were also confirmed as the 13 freight cars completely destroyed in the wreckage. Again, a mandatory evacuation has been placed for the Medicine Bow and Newcastle areas in Wyoming. Tune to your station serving your area for additional coverage. Tune to 1240 FM on your radio dial for additional coverage of this disaster. Stay tuned for further updates as the story develops. We are sorry to interrupt your stations on Nickelodeon. This is an emergency update with the wreck is Newcastle, Wyoming. The investigation confirms the suspicions. The engineer was arrested after testing positive for marijuana. He is charged with 2 counts of manslaughter by locomotive, drug possession, and other numerous violations. It was also confirmed the engineer fell asleep at the throttle of his locomotive, missing 3 stop signals due to his illegal drug use. The fires have still not yet died down yet, so anyone in your fallout shelters are advised to remain calm and not to panic. Programming has ceased operations until an all clear has been given. Stay tuned for further updates. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast systems shall transmit this emergency message. This message has interrupted programming by request of the United States government to participate in this emergency. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air, providing news coverage to assigned areas. You are listening to the emergency alert system. Do not use your telephone, as telephones are only allowed for limited use unless for major emergencies. The emergency alert system has been activated. Please stand by for this emergency message from the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB for short. The fires, after 20 hours of burning and smoldering near the national park, have finally died down. But an all clear has not yet been given. To anyone living in your fallout shelter, you are advised to not exit until an all clear has been issued by federal authorities. It is still unknown when it will be safe to leave your shelters and return safely to your homes. This concludes the emergency message from the National Transportation Safety Board. Programming on Nickelodeon has been resumed until the final message has been broadcasted. We interrupt your programming on Nickelodeon. This is a national emergency. Important guidelines will follow. This message has been transmitted by request from the NTSB and the Federal Railroad Administration. An all clear has been given to anyone living in your fallout shelters. Repeating again, it is now safe to return to your homes. The fires have been decontaminated, and the 5 locomotives and 13 freight cars will be written off and scrapped by their respective owners. 8 other freight cars will be sent to Rawlings for major rebuilding. Once again, we thank you for your cooperation during this strategic emergency. We will now fully return your programming back to Nickelodeon.